Welcome back, Commander. So, as a actual direct continuation from a previous mission, which we haven't really seen for a while, we've got the phase transporter. And what appears to be Volkov or some special unit that effectively just gets to be transported around. If the briefing wasn't clear enough, yeah, the phase transporter is a cloaking vehicle. Obviously, having gone through Tiberian Dawn, it's a little easier to reconcile how cloaked units work. Sadly, it's still not a perfect, you know, tool to work with. Infantry can still spot it from a distance, although at least, on one hand, it's resistant to damage. I do one thing wrong here. You'll see it later on in the video. And it's kind of infuriating because you don't really think about it. Because, let's face it, the game told us about how there's reinforcements on the map, or that will come in eventually. So you don't really have to think about it too much. And again, the issue with the phase transporter is, while it is resistant, it has a nice ranged rocket attack, kind of similar to chrono tanks. The problem is that doing anything offensive, like running somebody over or anything, basically strips it of its cloaking. And you need to give it like a good 2 seconds before you can quote-unquote get a permanent cloak back up. I will admit, though, I didn't actually realize that the vehicle can repair itself. I only just noticed thanks to the 1 health bar and 2 smoke. Oh, and the game's nice enough to not require us to blow up a church. I guess that's something. Oh, the other problem with a stealth unit like the phase transporter is that the AI has a really nasty habit of just sending stuff to the last known location. Very similar to how it hunts submarines, as seen in, 3 videos ago? So, you kind of have this really awkward situation you get put in where if you drop off the special unit to try to attempt any sort of damage or distraction, you can't really pick them up unless you clear out everybody. And one's good against infantry, the other's good against vehicles. Neither really overlap against each other or to help each other out. And because of the whole fact that units can see the phase transport at a somewhat distance. It's still, 1 cell or hex away, but it's not the same as stealth tanks from Tiberian Dawn. So you're playing with that sort of disadvantage. It doesn't really help as well that, at least for this map, the way that units are positioned kind of doesn't really give you the idea that you can approach certain areas. For example, my objective is to the southeast. I know it's to the southeast. But how do I really get there without, being discovered? Because I'd like to, limit the amount of damage my vehicle takes. And so far, I've come across a ground bridge that has 2 tanks on it, which is absolutely going to get spotted. I don't know how that one didn't, by the way. And that bridge to the south, which again will get me spotted. I guess the only real answer is just to try and see if you can get some vision up before you run into any problems. On the plus side, there's no timer, so it's not like you really have to worry about how diligently you might be playing this. Just more because I'm, making videos. You start to get real paranoid about how your vehicle moves when you're in situations like these with stealth vehicles and, limited HP or unit situations. Well, I guess he wasn't mission critical. That's sort of my point with, stealth units and such. You do the objective, you get unlucky, and you attract a medium tank, and there's no real way to take that out. You don't really have backup units, you don't really have anything to really work with. So you're given 10 minutes to clear out basically the lane that your reinforcements will be taking to get to their eventual drop zone. As always, it's hard to overstate just how nice it is to be given a lot of units as reinforcements. It would obviously help if I didn't kill my own units with torpedoes, but sometimes that's just a thing that happens, and you just deal with it. This is also the point in time where I believe the Allies actually start producing stuff. If it wasn't clear enough, the ground bridge is effectively, the way to the Allied base. And I'll be making some good use of it here. I'm not quite sure if I mentioned that missile subs were able to hit boats. Technically, they're not allowed because of the whole... It's like the same dilemma the cruiser has. It can't shoot boats. Or it can't hit subs, even though realistically it should. So the workaround to that is you have it attack a ground tile, or a water tile in this scenario. Is it as effective? No. But does it still work? Absolutely. So, I mean, why not? The only problem, I guess, is that you kind of have to target the area or the cell that the unit's in before anything actually happens, or like before they actually move into it, because you can't target them and you can't target something underneath another unit. So you end up in this really weird position where you're trying to splash damage, literally, a cruiser in this instance. But, you know, whatever works. It's just kind of a shame that, due to the way that missiles work, it just sometimes means that you end up, like, hurting your own units the way they deviate. Also, yeah, they could have probably shortened the timer by 2 minutes. Even if your transports come out and there's still an allied boat or two out, transports aren't exactly like tissue paper. They'll take a couple hits. Yeah, I wasn't expecting another pillbox up there, so... At this point, I figure I'll just shoot at anything. Even if it's Fog of War, there's nothing of mine or of value on the map, so... Might as well just try to take out a couple units while I can. Annoyingly, there's still a problem on the map that I won't come to realize until the end. So the game mentions that there's reinforcements, and it's true. We can see obviously that there are transports around, but it's not necessarily just talking about those as reinforcements. There are two other groups, and they only spawn after you destroy the AA guns. And it's not like it's only when the AA guns go down. I believe it's when the entire like northwestern and southeastern bases are destroyed. But the game never tells you that. Or at least I don't feel like it. If it does, I missed it, clearly. So my reluctance to use the phase transporter in a way that would destroy those AA guns means I didn't get the reinforcements that I should have gotten. That would, I guess, subsequently just make it progression in the map a little easier. Yeah, this is where I discover it. You destroy the AA guns, you don't need to take out the pillboxes, and lo and behold, you spawn some extra units. Which is just annoying, because, you know, didn't expect that sort of thing to happen. Oh, and yeah, that's another benefit of the Tesla tank, that it can shoot over walls. You wouldn't think it's very important, but, I mean, we've seen V2 launchers, and they're not bad or anything, but they're fragile in their own right, and they got the long reload time. Tesla tanks just are more mobile. They're easier to keep with all your forces. So it ends up being one of those things where it's kind of nicer to have Tesla tanks, and if you can position them, I guess, quote unquote, properly, so that you don't take fire from a turret because it has to shoot through its own walls first. More power to you. Oh, and guess what? We're on a pixel hunt because we have no radar, and there are things on the map that exist. Oh, and apparently the village is also harboring some of my own units. Some engineers, I don't really know why, and some units. And of course, there's this guy hidden.
You have been busy, comrade. I am to present you with this Soviet star in recognition of your efforts in keeping the Allied dogs from completing development of their new toys. You have done well, my friend. Yet, too well. Soon you will have this drafty corner office, and I will have to start worrying about my own job.